Southside Electric Cooperative presents
14,000 volts running through that, and
Circuit 5, need that on non-reclosing.
4 districts.
You need to put safety as a top value. All of us, we watch each other's back, and that's a must in this line of work.
Over 8,000 miles of power lines.
And Murphy's Law. Always something can go wrong.
you gotta love it.
And everybody knows what job that they have to do.
Serving 18 counties. In South Central Virginia.
You got to be prepared for anything. You know that you got to get it done. You can't just leave it out here for the next guy to come and get.
4 different locations.
Yeah, I got another one here.
You never know really what you're going to involve with a service truck. It's not just one job, it's 20 different things you can come across in a day's time.
This is a day in the life of a lineman.
Starting right now. As the sun rises over Virginia, crews begin preparing for the day. At the Western District office in Alta Vista, the boys have a special project in store.
Each morning when you show up to the office, about 7 o'clock.
Travel you going down there on the track machine.
Once Dennis gives us the job briefing and what we're going to be doing for the day, we all go out and start loading material on the trucks.
As soon as we get out here, we get the truck set up, chopped up, safety zones made, work zones. And then after that, we get around the truck and we have a tailgate discussion.
All right, we're going to replace ground rods on this level side. The hazards we're going to have to be working on this hillside. All right, just be safe.
Special equipment we got today is the track machine because we're on this cross-country hillside here. There's no other rubber tire vehicle could get in here. So we had to bring our track machine to do this job today.
Just take our time and try to get this track down there as best we can, as close as we can to the water there, but without going over in the water.
You got to be pretty careful with it because it's on a real steep incline and it's a high-dollar piece of equipment. If you run it over to the lake, then that wouldn't be a good situation there.
It's a similar start to the day in the Central District, 90 miles east of Leesville Lake and Crew.
Once we get to work in the morning, we had an idea where we was going today. The game plan can change at any time.
Well, when we got out here on the job, conducted our safety briefing. Set the new pole beside the old one and retired the old pole. Pole number 1235-18-8. Some of the job hazards involved, line re-energized, working the road, deal with road traffic. Chesney will be working the bucket. Darnell and myself be on the ground, Adam be on the line truck. Before we do any kind of digging, whether it's overhead setting a pole or doing any kind of underground, we got to get a missed utility ticket done, and we got to get any utilities, whether it's a gas line, water line or telephone line, we got to get it marked. It's just required by law. Kevin, if you would, could you pull up Dinghamtown substation, Circuit 5, need that on non-reclosing. We're gonna be changing that pole 1235-18-8.
All right, Tony, Circuit 5 has been worked out for you.
All right, thank you, sir. I'll give you a call back and ready to put it back to normal. 15 clear.
While they wait for Miss Utility, 35 miles away, the Northern District crew is having their tailboard discussion at a local church before heading to the job site.
Jeremy's going to be on the line truck, and I guess Malcolm's going to be on the track. He said it's already cut loose. It's de-energized. They got it switched over to the new line. That's pretty much it. I'll get y'all's names on here. They already took the track. We gonna start on this side, Gary?
Yeah, the track's already in there.
And then we got to go to the other side. He said something about the cutover too. We got to go in to get a couple poles.
I hadn't been through that.
Okay.
We brought the line truck out and had some flotation tires put on it. Well, flotation tires are a lot wider and they stay up on top of the ground a whole lot better when it's muddy and wet and everything. There's no way that the normal tires would have made it through the right of way.
We want to start that way? We can go over there and start where we can get to.
That looks muddier that way than it does that way.
So you get over that hump.
While they're getting started, 48 miles to the southeast, at the Dinwiddie office in the Eastern District, They're having a monthly mandatory safety meeting followed by some yearly qualifications and training.
And it just happened to be a unique day that we had our safety meeting, and then we stepped out to start our training and get that done for the year. The guys are going through what we call pole top rescue today. In the event that something happens in the field, they will be trained on getting the injured person down. We try to get it done in a 4-minute time limit, and it's just some safety practice that we hope we never use, but we want them trained in it.
This morning we had several different things to do. We had a safety meeting, once a month. We had to do that, take care of that, and pole top rescue had to be done. And it got a little late start doing what we had to do. But like I said, it's a different number of things you can encounter as far as being on the service truck.
As Kevin gets a late start and heads to his first service appointment, 122 miles to the west, Daryl Dinwiddie's Western District crew has begun putting in the new anchors.
Well, this morning we come out over here to Leesville Lake. We come over here to install new anchors and new hardware that are heavy duty for the pole.
In the past snowstorm we had a pine trees pin it down from heavy snow. And it pulled the old anchor up. It was a bust anchor. So today we're going back with the screw anchor, which can has more maximum pull load on it.
Right down.
We're adding 2 more new guys. We had engineering come out here and add some more guys for us. So we're out here with this track machine today to strengthen up this pole, get this lake crossing back right. And it took a while setup planning for this job right here.
Good turn a little bit.
But every day is a new adventure out here. As soon as we de-energize the line, we're gonna get a lineman in the bucket and he's gonna install the new guy attachments and everything.
I had to take the bolts out, the hardware out, drill new holes for bigger bolts, and install the heavy-duty hardware to this pole for this new heavier-duty guy wire to hold this pole to get the span back where it's supposed to be up off the water for passage for boats, fishing, and everything else to get the proper clearance off of the water.
We're halfway. We are moving over to the other side and going to install 3 more new screw anchors after we finished here.
The boys are nearing completion on this side of the lake, but 90 miles away in the Central District, they're just getting underway.
When we got out here on the job, found out that the telephone hadn't been marked and we had to get that marked, and we had to wait on that. And once that was marked, then we were able to start our work.
So with that, once we got moving, everything fell into place.
Yeah, this is a pretty routine job.
We got lucky today with the ground being dry. We're working in an open field on the edge of a road. So the terrain can be a little difficult sometimes. And of course, the wind was a factor today.
When we move the wires, the conductors that are energized, we have to use a material handle on the boom to move the wires safely. We had to use the layout arms, the fiberglass layout arms, to get enough clearance to where we could set the new pole. It's hard to kill a main feeder because you got so many people living on it, you just can't kill the line, so we have to keep it energized. Using the material handle, that's a safe way of doing it.
This job, we had time to prepare. The other times, when there's a broken pole, there's not a lot of time to prepare. There's only time to gather up the materials and go to work. But we always work together. We always concentrate on communicating and listening to one another. That's a practice of safety. There's a practice of togetherness. And there's a thought of going home in the evening safely. And it happens kind of like clockwork. There's a man in the bucket. He's been doing it for 10 years. I've been here for 14 years. The other gentleman, the serviceman, he's been here for 15 years. We cut the old pole. While it's being cut, it remains in place. Then the line truck picks it up slowly and moves it out of the way.
Once we, were able to complete the job as far as getting the pole set and getting the line back to normal operation, that kind of concluded the job. I think it went pretty smooth. I think it went real smooth. Did it safe, and I think everybody did a good job working together. On to the next job.
Things went pretty smooth for the Central District boys. 37 miles to the east, Kevin is arriving to his first service appointment.
I talked to her the other day when
Oh, so you know which one?
Yes, ma'am. It's this one right here, and she told me to go ahead and cut it off all the way to the ground.
Okay.
Normal day would include on the service truck, you'll get a lot of customer lights. You'll have to fix during the day. You could have low-hanging wire. You know, a lot of times with this time of year, spring and summer, we'll get a lot of big trees growing in the line. You never know really what you're going to involve with a service truck. Nothing's ever the same. It's not just one job. It's 20 different things you could come across in a day's time to do what you needed to do. Consumer called in. She had a concern about the trees were too close in her line, and I talked to her the other day. I was just going to let it dry. When I went out there, it was raining, had to come back, and had to get the trees cut down. They were growing up in the line, and she asked if we would, kindly get it out of her yard to the side. So we went in there and cut them down and put them to the side of the yard best we could. She was an elderly lady, so we did what we could to try to help her out. Dispatch call, we had lights out, probably 15, 20 members.
Yeah, that's a line fuse off, correct?
That's correct.
All right, got you on that 14 clip. Before you roll, get a line out. And there went your lunch for the day. I don't know what happened yet. I'm going out there and get line fused in blue. It's a tap off. Looks like it's a rough one. I think it's one going across the lake. We're going to find out when we get there in just a little bit.
So there's no stopping Kevin in the Eastern District. There's also no stopping the Northern District crew 50 miles to the northwest.
But today we had to retire like a 17 pole tap.
It was kind of muddy conditions, and so we had the track machine, we had flotation tires on the line truck, and we had to utilize those to get to where we were to pull the poles out. So we kind of had to look out for each other on that.
We set up on the first pole and had to climb up there and ground it.
Just to make sure, even though it is cut loose, put the grounds up there to ground it, and that way you know for certain.
And then after we grounded it, we went ahead and cut the wire down and let it down on each side. And then we take the line truck, pull the pole.
On the first pole, then it started raining while we were in the right-of-way. So we just had to keep working through it. We weren't doing energized work, so you just overcome, keep going.
You gotta love it. Yeah, if it doesn't get any heavier than this, we'll probably keep working. Strip the material down off of the pole because a lot of it's fairly new.
See, we just reconditioned this line, so all the stuff is fairly new. Turn it back into the warehouse.
We filled the pole hole in.
So that animals or people don't fall over it. A good way to twist an ankle, break a leg, something like that. All right, start sucking it in.
We'll pull all the poles up to a central location, and that way we can load them up later.
That'll work.
Then we take the butterfly and rolled all the wire up, loaded it in the back of the truck.
It's always something unforeseen every day. Situations, terrain changes, your job changes. You know, you're not always tearing stuff out. You might be building stuff. It might be just trying not to tear up somebody's field or yard, or, you know, there's different aspects we have to consider every day that we do a job. You know, always something can go wrong. Murphy's Law. If it can, it will.
Looks like the floating tires have left the truck sinking in mud. Meanwhile, 100 miles to the southwest, the Western District crew made it to the other side of Leesville Lake, and they got right to work installing the new anchors. All seemed to be going well.
You split this side over here.
On these last few that we finally dug, the actual housing on the end of the auger bit, it broke, so we had to make adjustments on that. It was something we did not cover on the tailgate, but that's always something that happens, and you got to be prepared for anything. The extra material that we brought out is something that you normally do because you don't want to run into something where you got to go back into the shop and waste time. You want to be able to go and get it done. For instance, today we had a consumer out for a designated period of time, and we wanted to get them back on as fast as we could. We actually screwed into the existing anchor that we were going to retire, so that threw a little kink in plans.
In the process of drilling this one in, we hit that old one. Things got a little hairy there. put too much pressure on that guy wire. The guy wire most of the time don't give up. It's got steel, made out of steel. Most of the time it'll make your pole give up.
While they get the equipment out to begin Plan B, 110 miles to the east, Kevin's Eastern District service truck arrives on site of the trouble call.
Don't ever bank on getting lunch, because the lights go out, you gotta go. You don't have much say or choice in that, and that's generally the way it works. Whenever you want to sit down and eat, the phone's gonna ring. That lightning rust or something got into that transformer right there.
A squirrel had then got in the transformer and then blew the fuse on the transformer and the upline device.
Go ahead, 14.
Yes, I'm gonna be up changing the lighting arrestor on pole 792, 67.8. I'm gonna be up there about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
We getting ready to install some animal guards. Keep this problem from occurring again.
Installed new lighting arrestor and animal protection up there to keep that from occurring again.
All right, Matt, you can check me down back off that pole at 792, 67.8, man. I'm going back to the track in about 5 minutes. I'm filling out the paperwork. We're doing it online where we can key our own lights out, do our own trouble calls, and do them all off the computer now so that headquarters don't have to do it as much.
Yeah, I got another one here.
Got another one.
Looks like he's got another call. 50 miles away, the Northern District crew is in a sticky situation.
Yeah, the last pole that we had to get to, truck got a little sideways going up the hill. It was on a good bit of a slope, a steep hill in and out, but had a little bit of a side slope on it too, so the truck kind of slid sideways.
And of course the right-of-way is only 30 feet wide. So when we were going up the hill, we had to slow down because the wire was laid to the edge of the right-of-way and the truck was sliding down the hill. So when we did, we couldn't start again.
You want to get the track vehicle in here?
Got to play in the mud. We were able to pull it with the track machine and then get set up on the pole and everything.
Yeah, that's the last one. They got the other ones with that track, so that's the last one.
When we came back down the hill, it was such a steep hill. Instead of the truck sliding, we put the track machine behind it to help hold it so it wouldn't slide sideways at the bottom of the hill. And it worked good. It worked well. We got in, got out. It was 17 poles total. I'm not sure how many feet of wire it was. We got 13 today. We have to move the equipment around to another side, to the tail end of the line, and we'll get the last 4 tomorrow.
They have pulled a lot of poles, and as they wrap up their day, 100 miles to the southwest, the Western District crew is running into some problems.
After we dug into the existing anchor that was there, we got our heads together and got a game plan and dug 2 new holes. Yes, it did prolong our day a little bit more. It's something that you don't come across, every day, but when it does come, you know that you got to get it done. You can't just leave it out here for the next guy to come and get. You got to finish your job and complete it.
You go down so deep and then you hit solid rock, so you have to go ahead and change it out and go a different route with it. The screw anchors are really not designed to go through rock. If you hit solid rock, then you have to go to a different alternative. But they're mainly designed just to go through soft dirt.
Because you had to auger up to right here.
While we was at this pole right here digging, trying to get the new anchors in the ground for the heavy duty construction, kind of hit rock and got hung up. And it was just a slow go. So I talked to the supervisor, I got my tools, I started climbing up there to start changing the hallway out on the pole, just to so we wouldn't be losing so much time to get ahead.
This is a expansion buster anchor. We'll drill a hole to put it in there, and we'll take the buster and bust it. And it's going to expand out to be about 3 times the size of that. Bust out. I busted little clips off.
It's busted pretty good. It's holding. It's going to be there for many more years.
Just a typical normal day. You just got to know how to adapt to different situations and just go on about the day.
Looks like things worked out after all as the crew adapted to the challenges. 115 miles to the east, Kevin is arriving to his second trouble call from dispatch of another blown fuse.
We had another blown fuse. I believe tree limbs are growing up in the primary, the main line neutral, and I think that's what took it out. We got the line back energized. I'm gonna recommend that the tree crews come in and see if they can trim this line to keep this line back on, because it's too much for me to handle by myself. Right wet in the backyard, so really can't get in there to do what we need to do the right way. So hopefully it holds to the tree trimmers and it dries out. They can get back in here and do what they need to do.
38 miles to the west, the central crew has arrived at the location of their second job, but it looks like there won't be enough time to start it today.
We coming out here, evaluating the job. It's a lot involved, and as far as we kind of ran out of time a little bit, coming out here to start on this job. And by the time you get the truck set up and get the line on one shot and get the road signs out, it's already time to go in. So it's we've reached a good stopping point. Looking at the job, and there's always another day.
As all the crews return to the shop and put away their equipment, the day is done for them. But a select few remain on call just in case the lights go out.
This was my day in the life of a lineman.
This was my day in the life of a lineman.
And this is my day in the life of a lineman on the service truck.
This is a day in the life of a lineman.
Yep, that's it. That's the day.